Now let's look to UNC Minnesota. I don't know why, but today I'm feeling themes, right? Theme of the show, actions speak louder than words.
Okay.
Theme of the UNC Minnesota game has to play on that a little bit, but I'm going with the known and the unknown. All right? There's kind of parts of this game that I think are wildly predictable and parts of this game that, due to decisions made by each team, are wildly shrouded in mystery. I thought, right, when you look at the schedules when they first come out, as, I don't know, I assume everybody does, but I know I do, right? You circle the big games, which game am I going to be watching, which games am I going to go to, and you try to plan it out. The UNC at Minnesota game should be maybe the most predictable game of week one. Should be. And what I mean by that is UNC is going to lean on Omarion Hampton. Right, they're going to have a new quarterback, but they're going to have a very experienced running back who's one of the best in the country. All right, while we ease in the new quarterback, let's give the ball to Omarion Hampton a ton. Minnesota should be very similar. Depend on the run. They had I think I saw 6th worst passing offense last season. So you would think, all right, even if they're better this year, they're going to ease themselves into it. This is going to be a ground and pound Week 1, Big Ten, who plays that style of football against UNC with a new quarterback. This game will be low, right? Low scoring, quick. It'll be short. It'll be over fast. And then, right after I finally, kind of wrap my head around that, the two coaches started their little mystery tour.
Yep. Their game of Clue.
PJ Fleck said, I'm not putting out a depth chart. And Mack Brown said, well, if you're not, I'm not. And I started looking at rosters, and I started going, there's a lot of mystery on this team. Minnesota brought in, right, they had the 6th worst passing offense in the country last year. This year, they brought in a transfer wide receiver from Georgia, another wide receiver from Penn State, a transfer running back from Oklahoma, another one from from Ohio University, a quarterback from UNH, that's New Hampshire, and a quarterback from Virginia Tech. And they didn't put out a depth chart. We don't know where any of these guys are, right? I think we have an idea, actually, the UNH quarterback is going to be the starter, but there's a lot of I don't know on Minnesota. UNC is not only not putting out a depth chart, they're going to play 2 quarterbacks in the game, if you ask Mack Brown, which is the ultimate mystery. Even after we think we've solved the mystery, there's still a mystery. Right? Because if you just say, hey, we're not naming a starting quarterback until game time, then once the quarterback goes out there for the first drive, you're like, all right, that's the starter. We can expect them for drive 2 and drive 3, and then out of the second half and in the fourth quarter, that's the starter. But with UNC, they're not only saying they're not naming a starter, they're saying they're going to play both. So every time the offense goes out there, we have to peek to see who the quarterback is. And it's not even like there's predictability amongst the two. It's not like they recruit a type, right? Like I don't know why this is the example popping into my head. The Seahawks used to always have corners with long arms, right? The Richard Shermans, the Brandon Browners. When Pete Carroll was out there, if you had a cornerback with a long wingspan, Seattle was interested. UNC does not have that in the quarterback room right now. It's not like, oh, we like recruiting, 6'4", 230, or we like recruiting mobile quarterbacks, or we like recruiting quarterbacks with strong arms. Just the two that are competing, Max Johnson and Connor Harrell, cover the gambit, right? Max Johnson, 6'5", 225, according to the internet, runs a 4.84 40-yard dash.
The ideal body structure that you'd want in a Division I football quarterback. In
just a pocket passer, let me pick you apart quarterback. Connor Harrell, the younger quarterback in the mix, 6'2", 210, but runs a 4.4 second 40-yard dash, according to Mack Brown.
He can run like a deer.
That's different. That's wild. This kind of supposed to be very predictable matchup is suddenly, I'll let you know what I think about it halfway through the second quarter when I kind of see what these two teams are bringing. That's a very up-in-the-air matchup. And on top of that, week 1, you don't have film to watch. You don't know what these teams were doing earlier. Every team in week 1 is a little bit of a mystery.
But if you're going to have to rely on Amari and Hampton to sort of set the tone for this offense, would you not just want to kind of rely on Amari or not Connor Harrell to also be a part of that run game and that attack?
There's I think two ways to look at it. If you're naming your starter or you're picking your quarterback based on, hey, we have Amari and Hampton. First of all, it's a good place to start. You have Amari and Hampton. Second of all, I would say this. Part of you's probably inclined to go veteran, right? Because you're thinking Amari and Hampton's going to touch the ball 6 times a drive. There's a good chance every other time he's going to pick up a first down. We just need to make sure the quarterback doesn't commit the big error that'll give back that progress. If you're thinking of that, right, then you're thinking Max Johnson as the veteran because he won't get rattled and probably won't turn the ball over as recklessly. Just based on veteran versus rookie. That's not a knock on or a first-time starter. That's not a knock on Connor Harrell. The flip side would be, hey, we have Omari and Hampton. How do we maximize this running game? That's where Connor Harrell's legs come into play. Because if you want to block somebody, and I say block somebody in air quotes with the quarterback, send Connor Harrell on an aggressive fake away from where Omari and Hampton is. A linebacker, a safety, somebody is going to have to chop their feet and make sure Connor Harrell doesn't have the ball, and that player could be effectively blocked. So it's both. Again, I don't know. I wish I knew. If I knew, I could start planning for what I think from this offense. But until you do, it's very tough to guess. So it's a mystery game. UNC versus Minnesota. What's my pick? I'm going to pick UNC to win because I think the few knowns that we do have are better for UNC than Minnesota. But how is it going to happen? Right? I don't know. I always ask for specifics in picks. We had Dennis Cox make his picks for the Thursday, Friday games yesterday. And I said, and make it more specific, right? Give us something that shows you know what you're talking about, right? And what I mean by that is, it's one thing to make a three-pointer swish. It's another to try to make a three-pointer with a swish and bank that bad boy in. Both are 3 points, but one of them makes it look like you know what you're doing. So if I say like UNC is going to win, I could think they're going to win because their defense is better. I could think they're going to win because Kamen Rucker is going to have 3 sacks. I could think they're going to win because Nate McCollum is going to catch a long touchdown pass. Or I could think they're going to win because of Omari and Hampton. If you don't make me say that, if you don't make me call my pocket, then it's the prediction means a little less. So I'm saying UNC is going to win. I still think it'll be low scoring, regardless of who's quarterback for UNC. And I think Omari and Hampton will, especially in the first half, just be a workhorse for the Tar Heels. And Minnesota, they'll lean on running the ball as well, which is why that short time of like just existence for the game, not like time of possession or anything, but just real time will be very short for this one.